First things first. Hi, Beth. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you.
Good.
What I want to start with is No Place Like Home, the
Yes.
last track on the album.
Yeah.
When did you write it?
I think I was writing No Place Like Home right at the very end when we were just getting ready to go into the studio for Better Than Home. Or I may have written it right when I got home from New York studio doing Better Than Home album. So yeah, it's one of the end ones that I was working on.
Because, well, like you mentioned, your previous record, Better Than Home, it talks about the road and being
Yeah.
better than home. So where did this sentiment of no place like home come
Yeah.
from?
In the song Better Than Home, it's actually about coming into the presence of God and facing Him and what that would be like. And if you're able to stand there and trust that and be humble in that, then you get to feel something that's better than home. The reason why I mentioned the road is I'm using it as a metaphor, but that road really stands for the road of faith, not so much the musical
okay.
road, yeah. But No Place Like Home is really verbatim for what it says. It talks about someone who's really dreaming of building a home for themselves, making a light for themselves, what kind of things they'd hang on the wall, what kind of things out of their suitcase, that they would do. And they're not there yet, but they trust that they'll get there. Yeah.
And, well, being a musician, is that concept of home, is that a little bit more difficult to attain?
I think it was, especially for me in the early part of my career, yeah. Because now I feel like I can find it on the road and at home. I'm sure, though, the biggest part has to do with being with Scott, my husband, who started with me on the road when I was 28. And that was at my worst point in all of the time that I'd been out. I was really struggling, and he kind of came in and he taught me, amongst so many things, but one of the things he did taught me was kind of how to be on the road and how to love it and cherish it and be grateful for it and what things specifically to do. One of the things he taught me to do is, when you get into your hotel, to make sure you get out and you go walk around and immerse yourself as much as you can in your environment, connect with the food, the people, the architecture, and I think that really changed everything for me. But I would have never gone out of my hotel room without him being with. I would feel so much anxiety. So having someone that you trust with you makes it nice.
So in that sense, the idea of home is not necessarily attached to a specific place, maybe your house, but it's more of an idea about the people you're with and how you feel.
Yeah, I think that home is totally a state of mind. So, whether it be in a relationship or your favorite destination, or obviously, where you're actually currently residing, and yeah. So.
And, well, when you wrote this song, what kind of mood were you in?
I don't remember. I don't know if I was in a sad place or not. It's all jumbled together because I went through a writing spurt where I was writing, a few songs a day. I think even up to 3 or 4 that I'd basically get mapped out. So I was doing, as soon as I got up, and I'd go right into my piano room, and then I'd stay to the middle of the night and get like maybe 7, 8 hours sleep, 9 hours sleep, and then immediately wake up and go back in. So I was just constantly in there working, in due part to working with Rob Mathis and Michael Stevens. That's what really lit the fire so hard under me. I mean, I've always gone in and out of writing spells, and I'm such an addict that whatever I do, I'm going to end up doing it way over the top anyway. But this was an especially long one. I was really challenged. So, it was just, it's hard to say what mood, because my mood shifts so much in the course of just 24 hours. So I don't know. Yeah.
But what is interesting about what you just mentioned, in your interview with us on Better Than Home, you mentioned that they kind of challenged you to write also when you're feeling well, when you're happy.
Yes.
So did you continue that for this record? Did that?
Well, the pieces that I've written since this album, I think have been especially a little heavier, probably heavier laden, because Michael passed away.
Sure.
So there was a lot of that emotion kind of pouring out, And then I remember at a certain point, I started to pray that I wouldn't get any ideas, that I could stop, because I gotten to the point where it just wasn't healthy how much writing was going on. It was wearing me out, you know, and I kind of couldn't stop. It became very obsessive, and I couldn't be in the moment, you know. I couldn't have a cup of tea with someone. My head would be spinning, and so then I kind of took a break. I think I took a break for a year.
Okay.
And then this past year, I finished a few pieces, and then I just wrote something for my sister that's very heavy. So, but it's a song about forgiveness and asking someone to forgive you in the most humble of ways. So, but in terms of that strategy of going to the piano when you're especially happy or you're especially grateful and coming from that place, I probably haven't been using that to the level at which Michael would have wanted me to. But I think I needed to take a break. Yeah.
And well, you mentioned you wrote a song for your sister recently. So
Yes.
what made you decide to because it is a heavy subject, I suppose. So going down that route, what made you decide to do that?
I notice that whenever I'm in a place of a special, of exceptional struggle of some kind, you know, since I've been very, very young, I always went to the piano for that very reason of looking for some type of relief, some kind of answer, some kind of comfort that will help to calm me down and take this confusion and this being lost away. So I remember I was really struggling with my sister. We had a big fight, and I just felt so angry. And instead of over a period of time of it dimming down, it just got worse and worse and worse. And I just got to a point where, like, the whole time I was like, she owes me an apology, and she owes me this, she owes me that. And so I was just getting angry and angrier. And then finally, I was just so over the top about it, and I went to the piano, and I didn't know what I was going to write about, of course. And then a melody came, and some changes started happening very fast, and I just went with it. And the next thing I knew, it was all about Susan. But instead of me asking her in the song, hey, you know, you owe me an apology, it was just the opposite. In the song, it was, I owe you an apology, and can you ever forgive me? And it came from a totally opposite place. So my prayers had been answered, because I'd been begging God, I'm so angry, she owes me an apology, this hurts, you know, God, help me to not be so angry. But then all of a sudden, the next thing you know is what it's like he was trying to get me to do was, instead of looking for what somebody owes you, why not you look at your part and then give to them?
And well, you've spoken about the cathartic element of music a lot. So how does this? Is it only, like you say, in hindsight that you discovered that you've written that you were feeling a certain way?
Guys, just love that question. And you know why I love that question so much? Is it's absolutely dead right. That's it. That's what always happens. It's a funny thing. It's like I almost feel like I'm working on the music, but the lyric I don't feel like I'm ever working on. I feel like it works on it for me. You know, whether it's going to sound so weird saying this, but like I feel like people that have died will come and visit and kind of work through me, or like angel or God, or you know, something that is on higher consciousness will kind of come and kind of help me to figure out what's going on, you know. So in hindsight, yes, it's like, oh my God, that's the answer, or that's what, you know, I've been praying for. That's the answer to my dilemma, you know.
So if we take then the new record, Fire on the Floor, is there one thing that, looking back now, that you've kind of discovered about yourself?
Oh no, every single one of them.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. On every record I've ever done. Absolutely. Okay. They're these cool little games where you go to something and you're willing to work on it, but what it gives you back is so much more than what you could ever give to it. And it's just that willingness to show up. And then it seems to answer all the questions for you. Yeah.